Hello everyone, and welcome back to another R tutorial video. And in this video we're going to talk about how we can add and alter plot titles and axis labels in both base R and GGPLOT2. So what I want to do, since we're talking about titles and axis labels, is I want to generate a far more simplistic plot than what we've been working with. So we're going to just use this as a quick second to recap how we just create plots in base R. So in base R, we're going to, at a minimum, you need a formula. And you start with the y-axis first. Then you use a tilde, which is the shift backtick. That's the key above tab. And then the x-axis. And then we have to pass it in a dataset, which we'll call in the iris dataset. So at a minimum, this will create a basic scatter plot. Hit Control-Enter. We run this code. Okay. You'll see that we have a very basic scatter plot here. So if we wanted to add titles and change the axes, we do that with three parameters. Let's start by changing the x-axis title by using xlab, and we set that equal to a string sepal len length in the centimeters. And then we do the y-axis by doing ylab and set this equal to sepal width in centimeters. And then if we wanted to add a title or a plot title, we do main equals sepal width. So let's make this capitalized just because it should be, versus sepal length. And if we run this, for some reason it's not running in the console, you'll see that we've added the title, sepal width versus sepal length, and we've added, or modified I should say, the x-axis and the y-axis. So let's assume that instead of base R we were using ggplot. Well, let's do the same thing. Let's quickly recap how we make a ggplot. We use the ggplot base call. I prefer to pass the data in there. We add a geom point, because this will give us points. Inside of this, we have to add a mapping call with the aesthetic function that specifies what variables are going to drive what parts of the plot. And in this case, we want the x-axis to be driven by sepal dot length. And we want the y-axis to be driven by sepal dot width. So if we run this, you can see once again we've created a basic scatter plot, just like before. Now in this case, if we want to edit the axes, we do this with an additional layer called labs. And what labs is it's a layer that just controls labels. That's all labs does. And if we wanted to change the x and y coordinate, or x and y axes labels, we just simply specify x, specify y, and we specify title for the title of the plot. So we can do the same thing here with sepal length, cm. We can set y equal to sepal width CM. And then our title is going to be sepal width versus sepal length. And if we run this, you'll notice that something happened. Unlike with base R, the plot title does not default to the center. In order to rectify this, we actually have to make a call to theme, which you remember we talked about theme in our previous videos on how we can adjust legends. With theme, we can adjust the justification, right? Center, left, right alignment of the plot title. And the way we do this is with the parameter plot dot title. Now, it's a little bit confusing here because of the sort of under the hood way this works. We actually have to pass in an object called the element text. And inside of element text, there is a parameter called HJust for horizontal adjustment or horizontal justification. And then we're going to put in 0.5 because we want it to be halfway from between the left and the right. So if we run, for some reason we can't actually run this. If we copy and paste this down there, you'll see that now we have the title nice and centered. So hopefully this made sense. Hopefully you see the difference in construction between base R and ggplot. As always, if anything doesn't make sense, I encourage you to pause, go back, rewatch the part you're confused about, and as always, please reach out. Thank you.